Well, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chin here again today from Nothing But Facts. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys have been watching this series I've been building. It is the AP preseason poll, the top 25 season predictions. We've done Georgia, we've done Oregon, we've done Texas, we've done Notre Dame, we've done Indiana. Now we are going to do the Miami Hurricanes, a team 100% looking to get back to the national championship, and unprecedented. What a wonderful year this team had in 2025. They exceeded expectations. They got back to the national championship, something they haven't done in nearly 20 years, but they came up short this year. They are looking to rebound and get back to the national championship. Something that I think is very, very possible, especially given the way their schedule is set up. Let's go in and break down how I feel Miami is going to fare up in 2026. First game of the season is a conference game on the road on the other side of the country. You're going against Stanford. We talked about Stanford in the Notre Dame preseason matchup. They had preseason predictor. They have a new head coach in Tavita Pritchard coming in from the Washington Commanders. He was the quarterbacks coach last year, working with Jaden Daniels, turning him into the great quarterback he is now. Now he's the head coach of Stanford, but no, I don't think Stanford is going to be in this game. I think Miami is going to win this game and win this game big. I'm thinking the likes of 38-10, 35-10, 31-10, something like that, a 3-touchdown win. I think Miami handles business week one. Going at home, their home opener against Florida A&M, I think they handle business and they are going to beat Florida A&M. Then they go on the road against Wake Forest. Jackson Dickert, who is now the head coach at Wake Forest, has done just an outstanding job at Wake Forest. Like, I don't really care what anybody tells me, Wake Forest football is this, that. They've done a great job. Like, all jokes aside, him coming from Washington State last year and what he did last year with Robbie Ashford, it should definitely been given credit to the great job he did in 2025. But no, don't think they are going to beat Miami. They have a new transfer quarterback, Gio Lopez. Gio Lopez is coming in from North Carolina. In all the case, I think Miami handles business. We're looking at 3-0. Then they have Central Michigan. I think they win that. They're 4-0. Then they go on the road to Clemson. Okay. And everyone has been talking about Clemson, has been talking about how they need to get back, how they need to be respected, how Dabo Swinney has been lost out of touch with the reality of college football, how he needs to get in the transfer portal. This game is going to test that. Okay. Miami broke the bank for some players in the transfer portal. This is that type of game that if you're Dabo Swinney, you prove the doubters wrong. You show why you believe your high school recruiting, your pipeline works. But I don't think that happens. I think this Miami team is really talented. Of course, we're going to break down the roster further along as we talk about the rest of the schedule. But I think Clemson does not beat Miami. I think Miami wins. We are looking at 5-0. Then they go against Florida State. Florida State, my childhood team, the team that I've grown up loving, and they are just in absolute peril right now. What is going on in Tallahassee? Someone needs to call the National Guard. Someone needs to call somebody and go into Tallahassee and get rid of that head coach in Tallahassee. They got to get rid of him. They have to get rid of Mike Norvell. It is time for him to go. He should have been let go last year. Don't know what happened. But in any case, they named Ashton Daniels their starter. Ashton Daniels is coming in from Auburn. He's been a journeyman quarterback, went to Stanford. Now he's at Auburn, went to Auburn last year. Now he's at Florida State. I don't think this Florida State team has the horses in the race to compete with Miami. Just being objective. Don't think so. I think Miami takes care of business. I think this Miami team moves on, and they are 6-0. Then they have a home game against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a team that I think has been really interesting. Pat Narduzzi has done a solid job at Pittsburgh, but it's almost like, again, those are one of the coaches where I feel like I've never seen the next gear with him. I know they had a pretty good year with Kenny Pickett, but I haven't seen anything else. They have a really good quarterback right now with Mason Heischel. Mason Heischel is going to be, I think, a star in the ACC in 2026 when he's a full-year starter in 2026 when he's a full year starter. I think he's going to be a star, but I don't think Pittsburgh has enough. They've also lost some players in the transfer portal. I don't think that Pittsburgh is going to win. I got Miami winning that game on the road against North Carolina. I don't see it. I just don't see this Bill Belichick team competing right now. I think they're still a year, ways away. I don't trust the talent on that roster. I don't trust Bill Belichick. There's some things going on with his son, with health. I hope he's doing better. I hope he heals up. But I don't think that North Carolina is going to beat Miami. We're looking at 8-0 going into Saturday, November 7th. I have been talking about it. If you have a doctor's appointment, if you have a wedding, if you have an anniversary, if you want to propose to your girlfriend, you better not propose to her on November 7th, because the day is loaded with college football, and Miami is going on the road to Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to win that game. I said it before. We broke down Notre Dame's schedule. I think Notre Dame is hungry after how they lost that game at home on the road last year in Miami. Marcus Freeman and his team are hungry. They want Miami, and getting them in November. Remember, it's different in November in Indiana, the Midwest. It gets cold up there. It gets cold in November. You got them in prime time position. I think Notre Dame handles business. I think Miami loses that game. You're looking at an 8-1 football team. Then they have Duke. Duke is coming into town. Duke are the defending ACC champions. We have to remember that. Duke won the ACC last year. So the ACC champions are coming into town. Not too sure what their record is going to be, but you better respect that. And also the quarterback now at Miami, Darian Mensah, that's his former team. So you expect that Duke team to be motivated. Don't think that happens. I think Miami wins. They move on to 9-1. You get Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has a new head coach in James Franklin. I know his team is going to be motivated. I know they're going to be ready to play. I know they're going to be well coached. But I don't think, again, similarly to Stanford, I don't think Virginia Tech and Boston College have the horses in the race yet to compete against Miami. So broken all that down, right? I think this team gets to 11-1. I think this team is good, and I'm just not saying that. This roster really sets up well for them, and what they were able to do last year. Okay, we really need to not just say, oh, it was a one-in-a-lifetime thing. They're never going to get back. Same old Miami. No, that was a very talented roster. And this roster is pretty talented as well. Okay, this roster is very, very talented as well. Some new faces here. You have Cooper Barkate, fresh face on the offensive side. On the defensive side, Damon Wilson coming in from Mizzou. But it's all going to end and start with Darian Mensah. Okay, how far they go, how successful Miami is, it's all going to start and end with number 10. He is their number 10. He is the playmaker. He is going to have to get the puppies in order. He had an outstanding year at Duke last year. He was at Tulane before. And this guy has just, every single year, his game has gotten better. And he's not going to be by himself. Mark Fletcher is also coming back. Mark Fletcher was a workhorse last year for Miami. You put on those playoff games, the playoff run that Miami had, Mark Fletcher showed up everywhere. I remember against Texas A&M. I can remember against Ole Miss. I can remember against Ohio State. He had just run after run after run after run. He's a workhorse. And Darian Mensah is going to have help because his teammate, Cooper Barkate, he transferred from Duke. He transferred into Miami. He was at Duke last year. He is now going to be a wide receiver at Miami. So Darian Mensah has some help. He has a really good running back in Mark Fletcher. He has this guy on the outside in Cooper Barkate. But you know who else he has? He has Malachi Toney. Baby Jesus. That's who he has. ACC Rookie of the Year, Malachi Toney. And if you haven't heard of who this guy is, you need to go on YouTube and watch his highlights. Malachi Toney is him. He's wearing number 1 this year. I've seen it in training camp. He's changed his number to number 1. Like Malachi Toney is him. He was ACC Rookie of the Year, and there was a reason why. Okay? There's a reason why. 109 receptions as a true freshman is unreal. Number 1 in the country. He led the country in receptions. 109 as a true freshman is unreal. It's crazy. It's just crazy to think about it. Remember, my brother texted me in a group chat. He was like, whose season was better as a wide receiver? Like, whose freshman season was better? Was it Jeremiah Smith or Malachi Toney? I said it was Malachi Toney. Malachi Toney went over 100 receptions as a freshman. I know Jeremiah Smith won the national championship as a freshman, but just the numbers-wise, this is insane. This is insane. But, again, a lot of this is going to have to do with Mario Cristobal. Is Mario Cristobal going to lead his guys? Can he get this group back to that national stage? They were a really good football team last year. They had Carson Beck, right? Carson Beck was their quarterback. But, like, this team turned a gear. They flipped a gear. Their offensive line was solid. They ran the football well. And they really did a good job. And they have good coordinators. I love Shannon Dawson. I think Shannon Dawson is a really good coordinator. I really started paying attention to him when he was coaching Cam Ward. That's when I said, okay, Shannon Dawson, you're my guy. I love his offense. I like the way he calls plays. I like the way he calls offense. He likes to push the ball down the field. He likes quarterbacks that can push the ball down the field. Cam Ward, Carson Beck, like that's what Miami has had for the quarterbacks in the last 2 years. And not only that, they have a defensive coordinator in Corey Heatherman, who's also a dog. Corey Heatherman changed the identity of Miami defense. Overnight. It feels like overnight. I'm sorry. Like, Corey Heatherman changed what we thought Miami defense was. He instilled a toughness. He instilled a physicality. He instilled just a level of effort, of hustle that I just have not seen from Miami's defense. He was the reason for that. And, of course, they have great players. They have great players, too, on the defensive line, too, as well. Ahmad Moten, I know Ahmad Moten went in the first round, I think, to the Chargers. They had good players last year. Really good players last year. So, again, I like this Miami team. I think 11-1. Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame is similar. But, everyone is going to say, Mario Cristobal, he has those cruddy losses, right? Happened against Louisville last year. We remember the debacle that happened against Louisville. You end the season with 3 straight road games, with 3 straight home games, excuse me. You end the season at home with 3 straight games. So unless that debacle happens against Clemson or North Carolina, you should be 11-1. You should be 11-1. Again, this all is going to depend on Darian Mensah. Can he be their number 10? Can he be their playmaker? Can he make the right reads, make the right throws, put this team in a good position in the ACC to succeed? He has a workhorse running back in Mark Fletcher, who took this team to the national championship last year, was part of that dynamic offense. He also has his wide receiver from Duke and Cooper Bartgate, who is going to be a major part of this offense. He's going to be a big-time receiver. I trust Shannon Dawson to call plays. Shannon Dawson is going to put this offense in the right position. Not only that, they also have an X factor in Malachi Toney. Malachi Toney is an X factor. He is a top 5 wide receiver in the country. He is a PTP, a prime time player. You better show up. You better cover. You better find where number 1 is on the field, or he will burn you. And they also have a defensive guru at the defensive coordinator position in Corey Heatherman to get this defense in order. But at the end of the day, it's all going to be on the head of Mario Cristobal, whether or not this Miami team can win a national championship. It's simple. No more silly losses. No more dumb losses. You've passed that. This Miami brand is as the best, as high as it's ever been. You can't afford any dumb losses. All right? I'm sure this fan base, they're pleased how last season ended. But we don't want no dumb losses. So I think this team is going to be really fun to watch. I think Darian Mensah is going to have an outstanding year. Like, I really think Darian Mensah is in for a big year. I think he's going to show the country who he is. We'll see what happens. If you haven't liked, subscribed, make sure you like, subscribe, share, keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing. Love you guys. God bless. Peace.